All right, so now to introduce our first leader talks of the day. From Western University, he's a 2015 Schulich leader studying software engineering and business over at the Ivy Business School. We have Dane Sisinni to tell us about how to manage your money, which is a critical skill that you'll need for the rest of your life. So let's discuss a few techniques that's going to help you guys set yourself up for financial success. The one and only Dane Sisinni.
All right, can everyone hear me? Yeah. All right, thanks, Flora, for the great introduction. I just want to start off by thanking the Schulich Foundation and David for setting up this incredible event. Why don't we give them a round of applause? It's so great seeing so many impressive individuals. So as Flora mentioned, I'm Dane. I'm a third-year software engineering business student at Western. And this past summer, I had the opportunity to work on the brokerage engineering team at Wealthsimple, which is a financial robo-advisor based out of Toronto. And today I'm here to talk to you about money, which is one of my favorite topics. So I find it quite interesting that in school we learn all these great subjects like math, engineering, business, but one thing we're not taught is how to manage our money. And that is a skill we will need for the rest of our lives. How many of you in the audience are invested in the stock market? Okay, I see a few hands out there. So not investing in the stock market is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. So let's see why. So let's say that we decide to save and invest $1,000 per year of our income over a 35-year period. So let's compare to see how this 35K will grow if it's invested in the market and if it's not. And if it's not, let's assume that we've purchased a GIC, which is an investment certificate that's guaranteed by the government. Nowadays, that returns roughly 2% annually. And in the long term, historically, the stock market averages around 8%. So after 35 years, we're going to have 50K from our GIC investment. And if we're investing in the stock market, over $170,000, more than triple the money. So if you're not invested in the market, you're truly leaving a material amount of money on the line. So don't take it from me. Albert Einstein was the one that said compound interest is the greatest mathematical discovery of all time. So that's all fine and great, but how on earth am I, someone who doesn't know anything about stocks, going to create a portfolio that returns 8% annually? Well, the great thing is you don't need to know anything about stocks. There are investment vehicles called ETFs, or exchange-traded funds. So typically, when you're purchasing a stock, you're buying something that tracks one company, which is inherently risky. Instead, we can purchase an ETF, which is a fund that holds many different stocks. It could be 50, 100, 1,000. And there are many different ETFs to choose from. So there are ETFs that track the Canadian market, US market, Brazil, Argentina, corporate government bonds, essentially anything you want. So by purchasing an ETF, what we're essentially doing is investing in an economy. And long term, an economy is going to grow. Population is increasing, efficiency is increasing, and output is increasing. So long term, our investments will grow. Sure, in the short term, there might be a recession. But long term, our economy will grow and our investments along with it. And with all the different ETF options available, we're able to create a well-diversified portfolio, which is great for managing risk. So say, for example, 1 year the price of oil drops, so our Canadian investments are down. Not to worry, we have many different assets in our portfolio tracking different geographic regions. If you're Cliff, you'll probably want to have some REITs in this portfolio. But yeah, diversification is very important. So if this passive investment strategy is so simple, isn't there a better way, something more that we can do so we can achieve more with our money? So a lot of my friends have asked me about mutual funds. So on average, the Canadian mutual fund charges 2.35% commission. So in contrast to an ETF, there's an active manager, someone who's managing your money when you invest with a mutual fund. So let's assume, for instance, that the mutual fund we're with returns the same 8% that we achieved with our ETF portfolio. So that at the end of the day, we, the investor, will take home 5.65%. So if we were to invest $100,000 today, after 35 years, we'll have just under $650K from our mutual fund investments and over $1.3 million from our ETFs. So that 2.35% doesn't seem like a lot, but in the long term, it is tremendous. It's extremely important for investors to minimize their commissions and fees associated with their portfolio so they can maximize their capital gains. And the reality is, the majority of active fund managers are unable to beat the market. Over a 5-year period, 84% of fund managers are unable to beat the S&P 500. So our passive investing strategy is truly fantastic. We can keep our money in the same assets, continue investing, and we don't have to worry about it. We can watch our investments grow over time. And nowadays, there are robo-advisors that take this a step further. So when you sign up for an account with a robo-advisor, you fill out a simple survey, and based on the results, based on your risk score, it will match you to a given portfolio. So the great part about this is you don't need to choose which ETFs go into your portfolio. They'll automatically do the trading for you, ensure your portfolio is balanced, reinvest your dividends, and sometimes they'll do tax loss harvesting. In my humble opinion, I believe Wealthsimple is the best robo-advisor. So if you want 15K managed for free, just let me know. Yeah, so robo-advisors are great, very easy. You can just put in your money on a recurring basis, and they'll invest it for you. So all of you in this room are here for a reason. The Schulich Foundation has selected you because you are amazing people. As a result, you've received an incredible scholarship. You're all going to graduate virtually debt-free. So you should take advantage of that. Invest your money, and sure, in the long term, you'll be financially successful. An age-old question is, when should I start investing? If you've been keeping up with business news, the market's just reached an all-time high. You're supposed to buy low, sell high. Recently, I was reading an article that said an economy is in either one of two states. One, it's in a recession. Or two, a recession is about to happen. In the short term, we don't know what's going to happen, but long term, the economy will grow, and so will our investments. So just remember, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. Thank you.